We are back, episode 0004. Throwing up the 4 like the 4 horsemen here. We've made it to 4 episodes again. I mean, every week it's just it's an accomplishment, isn't it?
It is. It just feels good every week. You know, forward momentum. Mm-hmm. Like the horsemen.
Exactly.
We're the best thing in the business right now.
Now, what was the best horseman? No, let's not get into that. We'll save that for another week.
Arn Anderson.
Yeah, clearly. All right, so thank you if you have been listening. You can always tweet us, too, at SixPackCast on Twitter, just like at Eimer Sushi did. At Eimer Sushi on Twitter tweeted us a picture of his car. He was listening, on maybe his trek to work or whatever, wherever he was going. So we love to see those pictures.
Technology. As somebody that still hooks my phone up to an auxiliary cord so I can listen to podcasts in my car, seeing it show up on a dash is mind blowing to me.
Are you the guy that puts in the cassette tape?
No, I'm not that bad.
Okay.
2 or 3 years ago, yes.
You've been there,
I'm
though.
upgrading slowly. I'm overdue for a car upgrade.
I've also been there. Love the cassette tape there. Download and subscribe through iTunes and Stitcher. All you have to do is search Six Pack Challenge on there and Six Pack Cast on YouTube, too. You can find us right there. Now, before we get started here, I want to mention what we've been doing for each episode. When we release each episode, if you noticed last week on our social media, we had the picture of Dusty Rhodes. Baby.
Yeah, daddy.
Dusty Rhodes holding up the six-pack challenge. This is what we're going to do each and every week because I have a ridiculous amount of just action figures.
It's staggering. As somebody that has seen it, it is a staggering amount of wrestling figures.
It's just a large box that has continued to grow. So I thought, we should put this to use. Let's actually have a different superstar each week so we can kind of just bust out the collection. It gives me a reason to play with my toys, and it'll show which episode is dropping, which will be 0004 tonight. You are Keith.
I am.
I am Mark.
Hello, Mark.
Hello. We are grown men who still watch wrestling.
And play with action figures / toys.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes, we do. And we also like to bust open a 6-pack of beer and go through a topic per beer. That's the whole point behind this podcast, and we have a lot to get to this week.
We do. It's a stacked episode.
Let's dive in.
All right. So going outside of the WWE, some real cool wrestling happened this weekend. In New Japan's Dominion show.
I was going to say across the pond, but I don't think that makes sense. I guess if you go the other way, you have to cross water.
Yeah, you have to cross water. I think it's 2 ponds, depending on which way you go with it.
True. Bigger than any pond I've ever fished in, though. So it happened in Japan. What happened?
Did you watch it, first of all?
I did not watch it yet. I have not been there, but
you are in for a treat, my friend.
I've literally heard this statement made. The Okada-Omega match is the best match I have seen my entire life. I've heard that statement from a couple different people.
Whoever those people are, they're right.
That's a huge statement.
Holy shit. I want to say they put on the perfect match, and I want to say they put on the best match we will ever see in our lifetime, but I could have said that about their Wrestle Kingdom match, and they somehow managed to trump that because
really?
The big news out of this one, the whole show was good. I would say it's worth watching the whole show. It's a little long, so maybe section it up a little bit if you're not watching it live. But 2 huge matches happened. Probably the biggest thing to happen in Winnipeg wrestling ever.
Well, this is what I was going to mention because Chris Jericho posted on his Instagram account saying, "Big night for Winnipeg. Unbelievable.
Huge night good God, huge night. As a Winnipegger,
I was wanting to get at because you're from Winnipeg. We want to hear from the Winnipegite. I don't know, what do you call yourselves there? Winnipegger?
I don't know. Yeah, Winnipegger. That sounds right.
Okay.
God, so big. So the news is, if you haven't heard, if you've been living under a wrestling rock, Kenny Omega is the new IWGP heavyweight champion. Beat Okada, ended his reign, and Jericho won the IWGP Intercontinental Champion. So the 2 biggest titles in New Japan, both held by Canadians right now.
2
from
skids
Winnipeg.
From the prairies.
2 skids from the prairies. Yep, pretty much. I mean, if you want to describe Winnipeg, it is a skid mark on Canada, so it checks out. It's
hometown pride from Keith here.
Oh, so much. It's crazy to me. I tweeted it on Twitter. Where else would I tweet it?
Oh, really? Neat.
That it's crazy to me that Kenny Omega at different points in time grew up 15 minutes from me. And he is at the top of the wrestling world.
So, do you know where the Omega household is?
I don't know exactly.
The neighborhood, though?
I know the neighborhood. I've gotten drunk many of times in the neighborhood.
Just stumbling around.
Exactly. Kenny, I need to find the cleaner. But no, it's crazy. Jericho had a hell of a match himself. Omega and Okada, as always, put on an amazing performance. Easily their best one. Easily the best match you and I have probably ever seen, and maybe will ever see. They went over an hour, I believe. It's great. It's like one of those matches where you look back and say, like, okay, this is what wrestling is all about. They pull off ring chemistry. They tell a story. They sold, which is something that is so rare in the indies these days.
Yeah, see, this is what I was worried about, because I know you're a lot more into New Japan than I am, and that's my problem sometimes, where it's like, wow, he just broke that guy's neck and he's up doing a moonsault, like, instantly. Mm-hmm. So I want to see some selling. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, honestly, not a lot of high spots in this match, which I think is, like, they had a few, admittedly, but they didn't just keep going to the well. Like, there was more high spots in their Wrestle Kingdom match than there was in this one. Like, nobody took a fucking dragon suplex off the top rope or anything like that.
Unnecessary
a little
sometimes.
unnecessary, but no, they just put on a hell of a match. If you haven't seen it, watch it.
And Jericho with the Clockwork Jericho, I believe, is the new look he's saying. With that's what he posted.
Weird.
Yeah, kind of Clockwork Orange type of reinventing himself again.
I guess so. I never really made that connection, but...
Over and over. One more thing I have to ask you about, though, being from Winnipeg. Do people in Winnipeg talk about, I mean, not necessarily Kenny Omega yet, but Chris Jericho? Do they talk about Jericho? Does everyone in Winnipeg know who Jericho is? Like, I mean, in Calgary, you don't have to be a wrestling fan to know who Bret Hart is, really.
Yeah.
Like, is he like a figure in that community that people know? Or
kind of. Like, he has the key to the city. Like, he's a star from Winnipeg.
So he can get into your house at any point.
I guess so. If Chris Jericho ever wanted to do that, I wouldn't stop him, I guess.
Go home to your parents and he's just hanging out in the garage or something?
As long as he's not Swearico, then we might have a problem.
Yeah.
But when things happen with Jericho, they don't get talked about. Like, it's insane. When Alpha and Omega happened in January, they ran a fucking story about Hulk Hogan. It blew my mind.
Come on.
So
you're like, what more do we need to do?
Oh, this is the biggest thing. And, I haven't looked, but they probably haven't even talked about it. So wrestling isn't a very big thing, but Jericho is a thing.
Well, he's a rock star, too. So
yeah.
He's a multi-talented individual. Winnipeg on top of the world after Dominion. That's what we can say there. Moving on to someone who is not on top of the world, someone who has called themselves the best in the world at times, just clearly not in mixed martial arts. Mr. CM Punk did have another fight this week at UFC 225 versus Mike Jackson. Another kind of like startup. I mean, this guy he was fighting was 0-1,
They had an equal record, yep.
Which was better than when he fought Mickey Gall because, everyone kind of thought he was going to get destroyed.
And
he did. This one went a little better for Punk. He lost by decision, but, everyone's saying, he showed some heart and whatnot. After the match, though, or the fight, I guess we're going to call it in mixed martial arts, after the fight, Mr. Dana White not happy with the performance either of Mike Jackson or CM Punk, saying, he's 39. We gave him a couple of shots. Probably time for him to wrap it up.
We got the money we needed out of him.
Yeah,
time
exactly.
to hang it up.
They milked him a bit there. They got the money out of it. What do you think? Okay, two questions. What do you think the UFC should do with Punk? Number two, what do you think Punk will do next?
They being the UFC are probably done with Punk. And as they should be, because there's going to come a point where there's diminishing returns and he's just a joke. Mm-hmm. This fight made sense in the way that it's in Chicago. That's Punk's hometown. Okay, maybe he's gotten a little better. He has, but admittedly, a lot of my friends that are like big into the MMA community said like he still looked like an amateur. Mm-hmm. Even after all this time training, he just is outclassed completely. So
there were a lot of people saying, this fight shouldn't even been on the card. There was a lot on the undercard that would have topped this fight. But again, it's
a name
value. They try and put him in there and make a few bucks. Do you think Punk goes to Bellator and tries to get some money out of there? I could see them waving him in just to...
Maybe, but would Punk draw another crowd in MMA, knowing, like, people have seen him fight? People have seen him go to a decision now. You can't really do much more as far as, like... length in a fight. Like, you can get better, yes, I guess, but how much better are you going to get in that respect?
See, I think there's enough crossover fans, like I would put myself into this, where I'm a pro wrestling fan, but I enjoy MMA enough to watch it when there's something I'm interested in. I think he's still going to grab that crossover, maybe not a huge draw, but he's still going to get that crossover people that are interested. I mean, every time Lesnar's fighting or Punk or someone, I'm going to watch it just because I'm interested in it. So it does have a little bit of value. Okay, how about this, though? I got to mention this. It's been reported that Mike Jackson made around $25,000 for the fight.
Oh, yeah, this is crazy.
Punk, over $500,000.
Wow.
$500,000.
Mike Jackson must feel real good about that.
Oh, like how do you... I mean, this is the same as when Lesnar fought Mark Hunt. Same type of deal. And he's just like, come on, really? This is ridiculous.
But it kind of answers the question of why was this on the card for the name? Yeah. Punk went into that ring or that octagon for his name. It didn't matter if he won or lost. They made him money. They paid him money in return.
And Punk did tweet after thanking his friends and family, everyone for the support. I mean, it must have been tough, too, at this time to prepare for this fight. I mean, he was just in this court case last week, wrapping all that up, and then you have this big fight coming up, too.
Switch gears immediately to I need to fight for my life against a dude.
Right? And I mean, like, fighters, you are, like, when it comes down to the week before the fight, I mean, that's all you're focusing on. You're training day and night.
Did you ever watch those, like, pre-fight week videos that they put out? I can't remember what they're called off the top of my head, but like the UFC YouTube channel puts them out.
Yeah, it's
They're
ridiculous.
Great. They're the best things ever.
It's crazy what they go through, too. Yeah.
So there's another name we mentioned in there, Brock Lesnar. Some news about him this week, too, that he's now the longest reigning champion of the modern era.
This all comes full circle.
Yeah.
I mean, beating Punk.
He beat Punk. Now, maybe we'll see him and Punk fighting. I don't know, does Bellator have weight classes and stuff like that, or is it like a free-for-all?
Yeah, see, that'd be great.
I don't watch Bellator at all. So.
If we went back to the original days of like UFC where it was just like, this dude's going to fight this dude, this like karate master's going to fight this sumo wrestler or something, right? I would love to see like a Brock. No, I wouldn't, because Punk would be
I think that would be a
eaten
slaughter.
alive. But yeah, it would be interesting, that's for sure.
So, Brock beat Punk's title reign with... I guess, yeah, he's over the 434-day reign.
Yep.
And now there's a little bit of controversy about it, though, because a lot of people are saying even though the days stack up, the amount of work that Brock's put in there hasn't really stacked up. I have some stats in front of me here that I found on Reddit.
I was going to look for these. I'm glad you dug into this.
So during his title reign, CM Punk participated in 210 matches. That's roughly one match every 2.06 days.
Okay.
All right. Now, Brock Lesnar,
this is going to be
just
ridiculous.
Going off of his 434 days there, wrestled 16 matches. That's one match every 27 days.
16 matches.
In days comparable, what you did in your title reign, maybe not so much. Here's another fun little fact that I have. At his current rate of defense, in order to match Punk's work rate, it would take Brock Lesnar 6,133 days, or roughly 16 years and 9 months to have the same amount of title defenses that Punk did during his 434 days.
And I don't have this stat in front of me, but you know what would be even more ridiculous is the time of each match. I mean, Brock's average match would be 6 minutes. Punk would be closer to 15 to 20 in there. So it's just
really like 2 Punk matches equal Brock Lesnar's entire title reign.
Exactly. I mean, do you think this is just the company wanting to stick it to Punk? I mean, that's what a lot of people think when they beat these records, right? It's like, well, we don't want him to have the record anymore. Just leave it on Brock. Because a lot of people are saying, well, this is the reason Roman Reigns hasn't won it off him yet, because he was getting up there. So they're just like, I'll just leave it on him until he beats Punk's record. Does that mean anything, though? Like, do you think Punk
Probably not.
Yeah.
Because the only time that somebody will remember that stat is when you bring it up a lot of the time. So if you just ignore the fact that Punk is the longest reigning champion, just move on with it.
Yeah. See, Brock Lesnar's just a call me when my sack of money is ready, basically.
Yeah.
Like, he'll show up for 10 minutes, not talk to anybody, grab his money and leave. And hey, if he can do that, I mean, more power to him, I guess. It's just looking at it as fans, you're like, come on, 16 matches?
It was very eye-opening this week, watching Dominion, because I watched Dominion on Sunday, then 24 hours later watching Raw. Like, I know it's a big show compared against a weekly show, but wow.
just a little different.
Can you tell the difference?
Well, I mean, this was a go-home Raw, too, so you would think there should be a lot going on there. I don't know that there was. There were highlights here and there.
A little bit.
So Usually what we do here on the Six Pack Challenge is our sixth topic is just one that is like complete shit, right? Which we've talked about Sami Zayn and Bobby Lashley. Again, honorable mention, could win again this week.
We talked about it.
What we're going to do is make the shitty one right here because we do have predictions to make coming up. So that'll take up our last two topics here. Just honorable mention once again. I'm going to kick your butt. That was a line that Bobby Lashley used to try and sell his Money in the Bank match against Sami Zayn this weekend. Oh, fuck that feud. Anyways.
Hopefully one more week.
Yes.
It might all be over by this time next week.
Oh, I hope so. Or I just don't know what I'm going to do. But hey, let's shit on something else here. The Ronda Rousey, Nia Jax segment on Raw here.
The interview, discussion,
I
panel.
have so many issues with this, and I don't even know where to start. I guess I'll start with breaking down Ronda Rousey's character. I have really been trying to get into her, and I just feel like every time it goes to her, it's just the same thing. It's just I'm just going to break your arm. Kind of says it with like not much behind it. And then the crowd still responds, yay. And then she's kind of like looking around like, yeah, I did something right. And it's like, don't encourage poor
maybe like
behavior.
It could get away. You could get away with that in the lead up to WrestleMania, but we're far past that, Ronda.
Yeah, okay.
It's time to be a pro.
Yeah, let's okay. And then not only this, Nia Jax. Can you explain this to me? Why is she a heel instantly again? I mean, she just went through this feud with Alexa Bliss when she grabbed the title, a month and a half, 2 months ago, where she was bullied and she, got the crowd behind her and everyone was feeling sorry for her and sympathetic. And she was a babyface and starting down this babyface path, even when she challenged Ronda on that red carpet or whatever that was. It's just such a weird feud altogether. But she was even a babyface there, and then now all of a sudden she's gone like full on heel again. I just were they not liking where they were going with this, or why the
convenience?
Switch?
I wish I had that answer for you, but
not a fan of that. No. So, and then Nia Jax. Here's another problem I had: her playing the, you're in my world now, and basically acting like she's some veteran in the wrestling business. Like, I've been working for years.
This is the part that I started laughing. That's how much I did not believe this.
By years, does she mean 3 months before her cousin Dwayne made a call to the office and then got in there?
Because Nia debuted in what?
2015, I would say tops.
Yep, so
maybe 16.
NXT in 14, so she's not this long-time veteran.
Like, Natty would have made sense making that speech. Right?
Absolutely.
That's like one of the only divas, women's wrestlers on the roster that would make sense, I think, saying that.
I don't think she's even top 5 longest women on the roster on Raw.
No. So that really bothered me on this. I'm, so above you in this. It's like, well, really, I mean, Ronda's been working harder at not necessarily pro wrestling, but perfecting her move sets and everything for way longer than you. So I don't really know where this is coming from.
Ronda's a bit of a better wrestler in the ring than you, Nia.
Yeah, you're just really big and, have an imposing figure there. So I guess, I don't know. I wasn't a fan of that.
And they really, really need to stop this whole, well, you can't do this in the UFC. You can't do your headbutts. You can't do your...
Can't pull hair.
Yeah.
You can't, what's this all about?
What is that trying to prove? Like, oh, this scripted wrestling match is going to be a lot tougher than 2 people beating the hell out of each other. Nobody believes it. So why do you keep going to that well?
That's right. And you know what? I feel like they have to keep bringing it up, to, I don't know, show who Ronda Rousey is. It's like everyone knows who she is. Everyone knows where she came from.
Yeah.
And even if they didn't, leading up to WrestleMania, you told
even
that story.
Even if they never bring it up again, see Rousey in the ring for 5 minutes and you understand why you will cheer for her.
Exactly.
Promo aside, she's not the best, but she's getting really good in the ring.
So we haven't gotten even to the part that makes the least amount of sense in all of this. She makes Nia tap out. Now what am I looking for at Money in the Bank? What's the point now?
Tap out again?
Oh my, she tapped out again. Okay, we've already seen this. Nia just went through all of these reasons why Ronda isn't going to be able to beat her because, I can pull your hair and gouge your eyes and do all these things you couldn't do.
Even got the headbutt
she doesn't do them.
Yeah, right?
She gets in the armbar, she doesn't do it.
She gets the headbutt, though, continuing Samoan tradition of everybody drops to a Samoan headbutt. But I mean... By laws of wrestling logic, that means Ronda's gonna lose on Sunday, right? Whenever you get over on the go home.
Well, you would think, but I mean, and then they try and pull those swerves too. So I don't know. That was my shitty moment of the week, I would say.
And a turd it was. So something that's not going to be a turd this weekend. Got a lot of wrestling this weekend. I'd say it's a pretty stacked weekend for the WWE. The NXT TakeOver Chicago. Is it Chicago 2?
Yes, the last one was in May of last year, I believe. So coming back again, I cannot wait for this.
Well, this is going to be a banger. So I guess this is going to be the start of our predictions, our ongoing tradition of predictions. Whenever there's a pay-per-view or takeover that's happening that weekend, we'll go through the card, kind of discuss what's happening and what we think's going to happen, and most importantly, who's going to win.
And we're going to keep a scorecard, and I feel like it should be like, the first one to 500 points or something. Maybe not 500. We'll figure out a denomination wherever. First one to 100 points or something. We'll have a bet on the line that we'll come up with, and if we'll keep this tally going.
Anybody in Twitterland has any suggestions for what should be on the line, send them our way.
At SixPackCast, send us a tweet. Whatever you want to see the loser do, we will figure that out as we start our predictions for NXT TakeOver Chicago. Oh, baby. What do you think?
All right. So going first, let's do the NXT Women's Championship match between, I always screw up her name.
Shayna Baszler.
Shayna Baszler. I was going to say Shauna, so thank you for that.
The queen of clubs or spades or diamonds or whichever one she is.
Shayna Baszler versus Nikki Cross. Who's going to win?
Okay, so I'll go first on this, and then you'll go first on the next one. Is that what we're going to do?
Sounds good.
Okay, I'm taking Shayna Baszler in this one. I feel they have a real hard-on for pushing these MMA legit fighters right now, and I don't think her reign's been long enough. I don't see someone beating her. I think Nikki Cross is just next in line to have a championship opportunity, but I'm going Shayna Baszler all day on this one.
Yep, have to agree with you there. As much as I love Nikki Cross, she's probably my favorite wrestler on the NXT women's roster. Not her time. They're going to keep it on Baszler.
All right, let's go Ricochet versus Velveteen Dream. I am so looking forward to this match.
Oh, this match is just going to be incredible. Just a spot. Are you expecting any more than a spot fest, really?
No, I mean, that's what you're going to get with Ricochet, and obviously Velveteen has shown that he can keep up with these as well in that ladder match for sure.
Oh, so good. And then Ricochet's flip with the, from the ring to the...
I have never seen anything like this. I have watched that I don't know how many times now, and every time it blows my freaking mind. Yes, if you have not seen it, we'll retweet it after. But all he does is a Velveteen Dream waiting on the ramp. Ricochet goes, does a flip completely over the rope, and then just walks up to him like nothing even happened. It's insane. Who are you going with in this match?
Ricochet, 100%.
You're going Ricochet.
Velveteen Dream doesn't have an Ice Cube's chance in hell, as far as I'm concerned.
I'm going Velveteen Dream. I'm going Velveteen Dream here.
Interesting.
Okay, here's what I really want to see out of this match. I just have high hopes for this match. It's going to be amazing regardless, so I don't really care who wins. I love Velveteen Dream. I feel he has taken this character just by storm. He's just got it ready to go. I don't see this feud ending right here, so Velveteen being the heel, I don't know if he wins in the cheap kind of way or injures Ricochet somehow. What happens? I'm going Velveteen coming out.
So Ricochet's going to lose his first NXT TakeOver singles match.
Yes, bold prediction right there. Write it down. I do have one question for you, though, about Velveteen Dream. Do you think that character, we'll get into a longer discussion at some point on this, I'm sure, but do you think his character could transition onto the main roster?
Oh, absolutely. 100%.
I don't know. I'm a little worried because I just have Adam Rose in my head all the time. And I'm like...
I feel like I agree, but no way Jose is really holding down, taking that bullet.
Yeah. Okay. I thought you were going to say he's working. And I'm like,
no.
I think he's going down
quickly
go that far. Too. So.
But something that does work, a Chicago street fight. Holy hell, I cannot wait for this.
This is going to be incredible.
Johnny Gargano versus Tommaso Ciampa, who I just want to see fight forever, honestly. Going back to the well again, Chicago street fight.
Ever a time for a fight forever chant. This feud is the best feud I have seen in, I will say, years. WWE, NXT, it is just, you're so invested every time they meet up, whether it's for a match or just a backstage attack or anything. There's so much emotion and story that they've built this perfectly. up to this Chicago street fight. Yeah, I just don't want it to end here. So I'm like,
No.
I don't know. I'm going to go Gargano on this one. But my hopes are that this feud doesn't end and it just continues in whatever way they have planned here.
Interesting. I disagree. I'm going to go with Ciampa on this one.
Okay.
Gargano won the last one.
Yeah, he did.
Ciampa might win this one. That puts him at 1-1. They're going to need a tiebreaker.
Okay.
And it gives a good reason for this feud to keep going, which is all I want.
True. Once I have my pick locked in, I cannot change it. So I like this, though. I like these different picks because then clearly one of us is going to get ahead in the points here.
Exactly.
We'll build a little bit of drama ourselves here. All right, Undisputed Era versus Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch for the Tag Team Championship. What do you think?
This one's a tough one. As somebody that admittedly has not watched NXT in the last little bit, this is a tough one to say.
Mm-hmm.
So
I feel these guys just kind of came out of nowhere to challenge for the titles.
exactly. So it's kind of hard to bet against the Undisputed Era in this one. So I'm going to have to go with Undisputed Era. Just they have all the momentum in the world. Even not watching NXT, I'm about a month behind. Mm-hmm. I know that they're still killing it.
Yeah, Undisputed Era, I have to agree with you here. I just don't see them losing it in any way. I feel like this is just, someone else that they needed a challenge. Now that Roderick Strong's there too, I feel like, they're still building momentum, like you said. They have all the momentum in the world. Don't see them losing that match.
All right, and our final match of the NXT TakeOver predictions. For the NXT Championship, we have Aleister Black versus Lars Sullivan.
All right, basically the same reason I don't see Undisputed Era losing here. I feel that Aleister Black just needed a challenger. And, Lars Sullivan, this is great.
It's a hell of a challenger.
Yeah, and they've, given this guy a chance. They've built him. Obviously, he's a fucking monster. Mm-hmm. So a great, challenge. I just don't see him grabbing the title right now. Future NXT champion? Probably.
Absolutely.
I just don't see it right here.
No, and Black still hasn't lost. Mm-hmm. So I don't think Lars Sullivan is going to be the person that beats Aleister Black for the first time. Black all the way.
I'm just jealous that Aleister Black can sit cross-legged. I could never do that, but he makes it look cool, so... All right, moving on to...
That's why they pay him the big bucks.
That's the only reason I'm not in NXT right now, really. So it's because I can't...
Makes sense to me.
I went to the tryout and everything. You can't sit cross-legged. Sorry, man. We're going to have to go with this guy. So, yeah. I could have been Aleister Black, but,
Maybe
whatever.
A few tattoos behind him, too, but that's okay.
Well, you haven't seen me with my shirt off. Maybe I do have those tattoos. All right, moving on to Money in the Bank here. We are going to run through our predictions. This is going to be a hell of a show. I love, that we have a men's and women's Money in the Bank match now with 8 competitors, 4 SmackDown, 4 Raw.
That's my favorite part of the whole thing.
Right? It's going to be very cool to see. You're going to try and, there's so many different ways they could go with this, I think. What match should we start with here?
Let's start at the top here with Daniel Bryan versus Big Cass.
All right, Daniel Bryan, Big Cass, the unpopular vote, but I got to throw some darts at the board here and just make some odd predictions. Big Cass is going to win this match. For
good
no
luck.
reason whatsoever. I just feel Bryan already had the win over him, already had a clean win over him, so I don't think he's going to get another clean win over him, or else what's the point of building... Big Cass is one of those projects for the WWE where he's a big dude, and I'd like to call him Test. He reminds me of Test.
Really, I guess so, but if you look at him, he has a serious edge thing going on.
Yes, he does, for sure. You know what? I actually said that to my wife when we were watching her. I was like, this guy reminds me of Test mixed with Edge somehow.
He's like Tej.
Tej. That'll be his new name. We're going to repackage him as Tej.
Big Tej.
Tej will definitely get over.
Just not in this match.
No, he's going to happen. He's going to win cheaply somehow. Obviously, he's not going to take a clean win, but I just hope they can. My hope, I have who's going to win the matches, and then my hopes for the match. I just hope that they can kind of break this apart a little bit, and Bryan can maybe not instantly, but fairly quickly move on to something else.
That's true.
So you're going D-Bry all day.
Oh, 100%. I just think that it's going to be a big deal when Daniel Bryan loses his first match. Mm-hmm. I guess it's kind of happened in a triple threat.
He's already lost.
Yeah, never mind.
Oh, is he moving over to the Big Cass side of things here? No. All right, moving on to Roman Reigns versus Jinder Mahal. This is a match.
Yeah. You need a piss break at Money in the Bank? You should probably take it here.
You know, this is just kind of a break for Reigns where it's like, well, he's not in the title picture right now.
Yeah, Brock's not working this show. What do we do with Roman?
Yeah, put him against Jinder Mahal, former WWE champion Jinder Mahal.
How the mighty fall.
Mm-hmm. So, Roman Reigns, and that's about it.
Yep, pretty much. Exactly. Roman Reigns, fart sound, next prediction.
All right.
Which is Bobby Lashley versus Sami Zayn. Let's keep the fart sounds going.
I was going to say, do we have a bigger fart sound for this one now? Because this is going to be shit. Here's my absolute hope out of this one. Again, my hope is just that this can fucking end, because I swear to God, if Sami Zayn wins this, the heel gets away and then this has to continue somehow, I'm done.
Yep.
I can't.
It's over. Hang it up. There won't be a 0005.
No, we will be done. I'd rather watch a colonoscopy.
Be
whatever
careful
that
what you
word
wish
is.
for.
Whatever the word is where they shove the camera up someone's ass. Yes, that's what I was trying to say.
So here's my prediction. When the referee rings the bell, we all win. Not Sami Zayn. Not Bobby Lashley.
The bell to end the match.
Yes, the bell to end the match.
I thought you meant the beginning. I was like, what are you talking about here? Yes, to end the match. You're right. We all win then.
But Bobby Lashley.
Bobby Lashley, yes. I will also go Bobby Lashley. All right, how about this match that is going to be much better than that? The Intercontinental title, Seth Rollins versus Elias.
Probably going to be the match of the night, in my opinion.
It has that potential.
Seth Rollins just kind of does that in his matches. As much as I want to see Elias be the Intercontinental Champion, I don't think they're going to take it off of Seth.
See, we have such different predictions here already. I love this.
I want to predict with my heart that Elias is going to win.
I'm taking a homer pick. Elias will walk with the Intercontinental Championship. Did you see that guitar on Raw?
So beautiful.
What a beauty. I want to buy that. Like, I don't care if the Smash version or what. I want that on my wall. Elias.
They'd be idiots not to sell it.
Yeah, why wouldn't they, right? Does Elias remind you of, like, Seth Rollins' older brother?
Kind of.
Sometimes when I look at him, I'm just like, I feel like they could be brothers. He's just like,
thought Looper Seth Rollins has crossed my mind before.
Yes, Elias all day taking the Intercontinental title. I could see some title bouncing with this one. Like, I could see it going back to Seth, maybe back to Elias a little bit over the next 6 months or so. So I'm going Elias.
That's fair. So now moving over to SmackDown, we have the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. The Bludgeon Brothers face... Are they the Good Brothers now, or
the Club, the Good Brothers,
Club?
Gallows and Anderson,
Gallows and Anderson,
whatever they want to call them? I don't know. The nerd thing, not getting over with me.
Never has. It bugs me. Characters that are so great, otherwise they just tack this nerd thing on it.
Like, is that like a
me.
Simpsons reference? You know, when Homer goes to college and he just yells nerd at the guy? And I'm like, is this where they got this from?
I hope not.
Because that's a funny clip on The Simpsons, but let's leave it there in 1993 when that aired.
Agreed.
Right? I'm going the Bludgeon Brothers here. I don't see how or why Gallows and Anderson would take the titles off them at this point. I just think they're the most qualified people who weren't really doing anything yet. So let's put them in a title match here. Put another match on the card, make the Bludgeon Brothers look strong again. That's all I got for that one.
I agree. If you want to talk about somebody that's gone from zero to hero on the SmackDown roster, it is the Bludgeon Brothers. They're awesome right now. All the momentum in the world. No reason to take the titles off of them. It's probably not even going to be a good match. It's probably going to be just they go out and kill them.
I could imagine that's the one where they're cutting time off of if, another one goes long or something. All right, let's go SmackDown Women's Championship. Carmella versus Asuka. Is Carmella ready for Asuka?
Bold prediction? Yes. Yes, she is. Carmella walks away with the women's title in this match. I think now that they've finally ended this undefeated streak of Asuka, there's room for Asuka to lose. It probably won't be losing cleanly, but they've kind of been setting up like her feud with Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville over the last few weeks. Maybe they cost her the match. I don't know. But Carmella walks away with the title.
I have to agree with you on this one, too. I'm not a fan of Asuka. I never have been, so maybe I'm just like, I just don't want to see her win right now or something. But I think Carmella, escapes some kind of heelish tactic. I have heard like murmurs of James Ellsworth's name coming up for this.
I did see that.
Which I don't want to see. Like, I hope it doesn't go that way. But what if he just pops in and screws over Asuka? That's a way to get more heat, and Asuka
it'd be so
loses,
good.
Without getting hurt really too. So
It would be so good.
that could be the heelish
That
way.
or he just goes and wins the Money in the Bank again.
Oh, there we go. He wins the men's. So he climbs Braun's shoulders and ends up winning somehow. Yeah.
That would be great. So on to the other Raw, or the other women's championship match. The Raw women's title, as spoken about earlier, Nia Jax goes one-on-one with Ronda Rousey.
You kind of hinted at this earlier, and I believe this is going to be the case too. Since Ronda did make Nia tap out on Raw, I don't see Ronda walking away with the title right now, which I'm happy about, actually, because I don't think Ronda should just grab the title right away and start going with it. It's just like, let's build her up to a big match on a bigger stage and have her win the title there. I think Nia Jax gets away with it somehow. I'm not sure how. I don't think she's not going to make Ronda tap, but I don't know. There's just going to be a heel way to get away with it too. I don't know. Maybe Ronda gets injured somehow, or I'm not sure how, but Nia's walking away with the title.
I want to agree with you so bad, but just listen to this headline. WWE Women's Champion enters UFC Hall of Fame. I think with all the press...
Fuck, you're right.
With all the press that Ronda's going to get coming up with this UFC Hall of Fame, there's no reason not to put the belt on her, because they just eat that shit. They soak it up.
Here's a rule we're going to put in place. Once we have the prediction out of our mouth, we can't change our mind. And this... right now would be a moment where I would change my mind, because you just convinced me. But I've already said Nia Jax. Have to go with Nia Jax. But you're right. You're totally right. The WWE is all over that stuff.
Yeah. I think if Ronda did not get announced for the Hall of Fame, she would be losing 100% just because it's too early. But it's just this golden goose that landed in their lap. They have to take it.
All right, fair enough. I think you might have got me on that one. WWE Championship, AJ Styles, Nakamura going for the title in a last man standing match. Who's taking it?
No one. I think we're going to go to a double count out in this match, in the last man standing match. I hope so bad that it ends with a double dick kick, where they just hit each other, they both take each other out for
Boink.
a 10 count. That's it.
Oh, I really hope that happens now. I am going to go Nakamura in this one. I don't
You think it's time?
No, but I don't see where he goes without winning it. So, I think he kind of has to. I think he's going to trap. We've seen this finish before in last man standing matches, but he's going to trap AJ underneath of something somehow. So there's no possible way he can get up. AJ will show fight that he was, if he wasn't being crushed by something, he could totally get up. But I don't know if they get to the backstage area and there's a forklift or like what the plan is. But somehow he traps AJ, walks away in the most heelish way possible, dancing away in his own Nakamura way with the title into the night. That's what I'm calling on that one.
That's fair. But it ends with a dick kick. I believe it in my soul.
Okay, so he dances away with the title, and then he runs back in.
And just hoof.
Low blows AJ, and then leaves. The exclamation point on that one.
Possibility. So now moving on to the Money in the Bank matches. Start with the women here for the WWE Money in the Bank briefcase now, because it's not really Raw or SmackDown. We have Ember Moon versus Charlotte Flair versus Alexa Bliss versus Becky Lynch versus Natalya versus Lana versus Naomi versus Sasha Banks. Who is walking away with that Money in the Bank briefcase?
Now, I'm going to make the biggest stab in the dark here. And
really, that's the best we can do.
Well, really, but just the way you even said her name while you were running through.
Oh, no.
You know where I'm going with this. Just the way you even said her name, mentioning, if you're listening right now, go back about 15 seconds and just listen to the way Keith just said everyone's name and the participants in there. And Lana, he said, Lana is going to be the dark horse. She is walking away. I'm not saying it should happen. I'm not saying it's a good idea, but this is what's happening. Lana is walking away, misses Money in the Bank.
Wow. I need to let that soak in for a second.
Lana number one, or whatever the hell the song is that Aiden English loves to try and get over there. So Lana, taking Lana.
All right, good luck to you.
You just got like this dead stare on your face, like, what did you just say?
I disagree with what you said there, basically in every single way, because I think that they're going to put the briefcase on Raw and put it on somebody that's going to be a serious contender for Rousey, because she's going to win the title.
So that narrows it down to 4.
And it's Ember Moon.
It's Ember Moon. To me, I feel like
big debut, all the momentum in the world. Keep it going. I don't think it's going to be a surprise.
Who else is on Raw here from there that you're looking at? So we got
Alexa Bliss,
Sasha Banks, right?
Yep, Ember Moon, and
Becky's Becky on Raw now?
No, she's SmackDown.
Charlotte's on SmackDown. Natalya's on Raw because she's right.
Rousey's buddy.
Yeah, you know what? Out of those,
maybe Natalya, but
I'd say
I
possibly
already
even
locked
Alexa.
in Ember Moon.
Yeah, you've locked it in now. It came out of your mouth. I don't know. I think Ember Moon's got just about as much chance as Lana does. So we will.
I disagree with you there. Even though I would, if I could redo this prediction now that we've worked through this. Natalya with the briefcase, Rousey with the title, friends
become enemies. We've seen the story. Keith has done some calculations. He wants to change his answer, but he said Ember Moon. So I said Lana, you said Ember Moon. Both of us will be horribly mistaken, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, there's a 50% chance it happens or it doesn't.
That's true. Let's move on to the men's Money in the Bank ladder match here. So the contenders in this match, we have Braun Strowman, Finn Balor, The Miz, Rusev, Bobby Roode, Kevin Owens, Samoa Joe, and one of the New Day, which we still don't know.
Obviously, we still don't know.
That's going to be revealed there. I mean, I imagine all 3 of them are going to come out at the same time. I don't know. They rock, paper, scissors, what they do. However, it'll be some kind of spectacle.
Some shenanigans.
Go the ring.
I'm going to bet that it starts with Kofi. Kofi gets taken out. Oh, it was actually Big E in the match. Probably something like that.
Let's give a half point for which member of the New Day. This is like a little side bet here on who is going to be in there. I'll go Kofi.
I mean, I just made a prediction that it's going to be all 3. Can I go with
forget
that?
the side bet. Forget the side bet.
If more than one of the members of the New Day are in that match, I get my side point, or I get my half point.
Okay.
All right.
That has been recorded, so now we know.
So now who wins?
Who wins?
Samoa Joe.
Samoa Joe. Okay.
I think out of everybody in this match, he is the one that makes the most sense character-wise to be Money in the Bank. The women's one is probably going on Raw, so it makes me lean for the male one to go on SmackDown, so they have one per show.
Okay, I see where you're going.
Samoa Joe, character-wise, God, he'd be so good. Just, he already cuts an amazing, like, I'm going to methodically take you down, like, I'm going to punish you promo. Throw the fact that, like, you better watch yourself, whoever champion is. I'm going to, when you don't expect it, I'm going to strike. Like, I think the Money in the Bank is built for Samoa Joe.
Yep. I see where you're going with this. I'm just trying to think of, well, I guess he has it for a year, right? So it doesn't really matter when he cashes in. So I was going to say who is champion right away, but it really doesn't matter at this point. So, all right, Samoa Joe has been locked in. Money in the Bank. All right. The reason I'm going with this person is because if I don't,
you went with Lana with the last one.
If I don't, it's going to take my whole theory out the window. Rusev Day gets up there, possibly with the help of Aiden English. Maybe he even helps out in both matches. Has them both win Mr. and Mrs. Money in the Bank. Mr. Rusev, Mrs. Lana, both walking away with the briefcases. I mean, I do like your idea of having one on each show, but I'm not going against it now. I'm going Rusev. Rusev and Lana.
I see where you're coming from.
Mr. and Mrs. Money in the Bank. I don't know. The only hesitation I have with that now is Corey Graves has been saying it over and over and over now. Like at first,
and Rusev did win on SmackDown, right?
He did, yes. At first, they didn't really, say much about this, but now he keeps mentioning that over and over and over. So
the thing I just love about this match is anyone could win this match.
Yeah.
I could see any single person walking away with Money in the Bank and it making perfect sense.
I would love to see Braun, too, the monster in the bank.
I'd love to see The Miz because he'd be another person just like, hey, I can cash in this contract anytime. I'll do it on my terms.
Kevin Owens, I feel like if I were to look at the whole list here, I mean, I feel like Bobby Roode has the least chance of winning Just
even less than the New Day.
Yeah, not that I don't like Bobby Roode, but he's just kind of spinning his wheels right now, so I don't...
He's in that after NXT funk in a serious way.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right, there's the predictions. We will keep score here, and once again, if you do have any ideas for what the bet should be, and we'll make a mark, like 100 points or whatever in the coming weeks here to figure that. Well, depending on how bad I lose next week, if I'm behind by a lot, then maybe we'll scrap the whole bet thing. So I don't...
Let's try to aim for like quarterly.
Yeah, we'll do that. Okay. As always, you can tweet that to us at SixPackCast. Now, we do have a few questions that we like to ask on Mondays and Tuesdays. If you're following along, tweet us too. I mean, some of us are like, usually one of us is kind of watching along live tweeting with our SmackDown Live. So tweet back and forth. Any questions, comments, concerns? You got the Q's, we got the A's.
We do have the A's, baby.
That's going to be a t-shirt one day.
Oh, God, I hope so. But our first Q comes from Cody Collier, who asks, who do you think should beat Jeff Hardy for the United States Championship?
Solid question. I think Jeff Hardy, the reason he is the U.S. champion right now, one, to round out that, Triple Crown deal. Two, he's a veteran to be there to put over someone younger at some point. I'm thinking like a Jason Jordan when he returns or something with a nice U.S. title run. I think that just makes sense. So yeah, I'd take him.
I mean, he's not locked to Raw right now,
exactly.
So it could be.
You never know. Yeah, exactly. You don't know what's going to happen. He could bounce around and at some point, and they'll write it into the story somehow. He could go there. So yeah, I'm going to go Jason Jordan.
I agree with your theory, but I don't think Jason Jordan's the guy.
Who's the guy?
Even though I shed on him earlier, it's probably going to be Big Cass.
Oh, good call. That is a good call.
Big Cass seems perfect for that U.S. champion role. Kind of, you can basically take Baron Corbin from last year and just like palette swap Big Cass in there.
That's a very good comparison, yes. And he's got the suit on now and everything. He'd look good with that gold over the shoulder.
Oh my God, Baron Corbin's hair.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we got to talk about Baron Corbin's haircut there. He got a haircut now, which is Constable Corbin's now rocking the dome there, and I think he looks way better. So
I agree, but with Corbin's look, I don't know if he should be getting rid of any hair or just holding on to whatever he has left.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's not going to grow back one day, Baron.
He did what he did, so no turning back now. Another question. We have one more, I believe.
Yes, this one comes in from Epic JC on Twitter, who asks, can you build... Oh, this is going to be fun. Can you build the worst Money in the Bank ladder match in history? It involves 6 superstars. I'll pick the first one, this being Epic JC. The Great Khali.
Good start.
Have fun.
Solid start there.
So we're going to collectively build one?
Let's build this together, yeah. So Great Khali obviously will be terrible in that match. Although he has the height, so he barely has to go up a couple of rungs of the ladder.
Just needs a step ladder, basically.
Exactly, and he can reach up there.
So the first person I would like to propose, keeping it on brand, Mantar. We have some love for Mantar here.
Mantar, of course. Mantar would be good in there. The helmet might get in the way, I guess, once he pulls it off.
Exactly. Somebody will have the spot where they beat him with the helmet, or he beats somebody. He gores them.
I like it. Coming from around the same era, honestly, I'm thinking the Goon would be good in this match. Trying to see him climb the ladder in those skates.
Oh my God.
That could be an issue. So, and that, and the skate could come off and someone could get some color, and this would be interesting. So there's 3. We're at 3 now. Who else are we thinking?
Keeping with the big men, what about Giant Gonzalez?
He's literally on my list. I have Giant Gonzalez on my list. I think he's a must just to see those clubs go back and forth between Khali.
Him and Khali moving at the speed of molasses.
Yeah, they can just club each other on the outside and someone will take advantage. Now, not much of a wrestler, although I'm sure he was involved in a few matches. How about we go like Ralphus from WCW? Like Chris Jericho's main man.
Ralphus had a match. He counts.
Yeah,
he counts.
He's a former superstar, so we could get in there. I don't know. Man. He might be out of breath halfway up the ladder.
Just a lot of conditioning in this match so far.
What are we at? That's 5.
That's 5.
You got
Who's going to be the last one? I think when we're talking about bad things in wrestling, there's one name that's unanimous with it.
Bobby Lashley. And Sami Zayn. Oh, wait, no, you're talking about from the past, yes.
Yes, I mean, they hold that down well these days, but it's a name that whenever you mention it, it shocks the world. We got to have the Shockmaster in this match.
Yes, he will trip over
He won't
the
even
ladder.
make it. He won't even make it to the ring. He'll just trip on the entrance. He'll be out. It'll be a 5-man Money in the Bank match.
Is Titus the new Shockmaster?
I think so.
I feel that clip will be. I see he has a T-shirt now, eh? It
Does he
says
really?
Something slip and slide or something. I don't know. You got to cash in on it.
I guess
Why not?
so.
Yeah. All right. So there we go. There's the worst Money in the Bank match.
I wouldn't watch it.
I totally would. I'd probably be excited for that one, to be honest.
It's like an accident on I-90, King.
How many of those guys are still alive? Can we get this to happen? Is Ralphus still alive? Does anyone know out there?
What is
Probably not.
Ralphus up to these days?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Is Giant Gonzalez still with us?
I feel like he died. I feel like. You know what? I'm gonna fact.
I think
check
that's.
that. We'll edit this while I Google it.
or even not. What do you think the outcome of that match would be? Who would go over? Who would be Mr. Would we call it like pennies in the bank?
Yeah, he died in 2010,
Oh.
just so we know. So yes, he is no longer with us here. The outcome. Okay, well, we kind of went through what would be happening. I mean, I don't think Giant Gonzalez or Great Khali have any chance because they'd be just clubbing each other back and forth. And then
Just the whole match, not even interact with anybody else.
Ralph is out of breath, just doesn't have the conditioning to get up there, so he's out, I think. So what are we left with? The Goon, and who else did we have in there? Mantar.
Well, the Goon wouldn't be able to get up the ladder with the skates, so I think that
Mantar.
leaves one
man,
definitive answer.
half animal thing. Mantar would be the champion. He would grab the Money in the Bank, and he would lose miserably when he tried to cash it
More
in,
proof
so.
that Mantar is just money in the bank.
He's the man. Tar, I guess. So there you go. Thanks for those questions. As always, at SixPackCast, we have some fun with, it doesn't have to be a legitimate question. It could be something like that,
Something
a
like this.
hypothetical, right?
Honestly, these are my favorite types of questions where
Yeah.
it just get weird. I love getting weird.
Where you just dream a little and think back and be like, how would that go actually? And then
If I can say the sentence, Mantar is money in the bank into a microphone and be kind of serious about it.
Exactly. There we go. All right. I believe it is time to finish up here. You know how we do this on the Six-Pack Challenge. We like to go 1, 2, 3, and Keith and I are both going to name a wrestler. First one that comes to mind. Somehow, some way, one day, the universe, the stars will align, and we will actually say the same name. Probably won't happen, but let's try it again. Ready?
Let's do it.
1, 2, 3.
Red
Bob
Rooster.
Backlund. Oh, Bob Backlund and
Close.
Red Rooster. Yeah. Cuckoo! So who goes over in that one? I got to go Bob Backlund.
Oh, 100%.
Former champion. So, all right, that's going to do it for this week, episode 0004. Thanks.
Quickly, what are the odds that Bob Backlund has actually wrestled a rooster?
Oh, very high. I feel he just lives in a house full of roosters or something.
Probably.
That guy is fucking batshit crazy. So I'm glad we cleared that up. Episode 004, it is going to be everywhere. Make sure you tell your friends. Tweet us if you are listening to it. If you have any comments. You know what? If you ever want to correct us on something, too, if you're like, you
Please do.
fucking idiots.
I'm
that's
sure
not
I
what
said
happened.
something wrong this episode, so just let us know. Send us a tweet.
Giant Gonzalez isn't dead. What are you talking about? So,
And if you want to do something really awesome, leave us a review on iTunes or Stitcher.
hey, that always helps too. I mean, we prefer the 5 stars, so it is up to you. And join us next week for episode 0005. And make sure you check out our social media, and we'll have the next action figure dropping the episode soon.